Greetings and welcome to my dear Aquarians. This is Ron from tarotofthetwinsun. I am working here on the YouTube platform to bring a look into the month of October. It's already October. Unbelievable. So yes, we'll be doing a quantum triangle reading for this month for the energy of Aquarius. So that's Aquarius, Sun, Ascendant, etc. Welcome to the channel. It's going to be short and sweet, I reckon, this month. Taking it easy. I'm in Cairo. I'll be doing work in terms of this channel, and I'm getting grounded in the celestial energies for this month. So we're looking at a mode of ascension, 6 cards spread, 2 triangles overlaid to bring forward the quantum field, and we should divine some sort of message through it. So let's go ahead and look at the pathway of ascension for Aquarius. Welcome. Nine, 10, 11. Okay, this deck is ready. We have on the pinnacle part of the reading the Page of Pentacles, Prodigalite, on the top side, reverse. We have on the bottom right the 6 of Cups in the reverse. We have in the future position the Fool card in the upright. We have also for the second triangle the Hierophant. In this deck, it's particularly the Magician's energy. Very strong card. 15th card of the deck, no, 13th card of the deck, 15th card of the deck, 15th card of the deck. We also have in the past position Judgment. A very powerful card in the reverse. Judgment in the reverse. Okay. We also have the future position, 10 of Rods in the reverse. Okay, firstly, things are going to get a lot easier as the month progresses, later on in the month for sure. There's a leap of faith that you need to take. It's a spiritual one based on Dharma, on a code. And the code will be given to you, with the Hierophant's energy mid-month. And that's where the pathway of ascension is. So mid-month, there's something where it's like a sacrifice, okay? Page of Pentacles in reverse means that you either fast, for one thing. You can fast in order to achieve the Hierophant's energy. Okay, and the Hierophant is invested in something. Here it's the Magician with the cup on the table plus the rod sequence. Pentacles does show up on the table, and when the Hierophant is like this, it brings forward a timeline from the past. This is the past energy in this part of the triangle. 2 triangles overlaid, 1 and 2. And the 6 of Cups in the past position in reverse usually indicates identifying false connections and not having to run through the cycle with them again. Judgment. So there's something about being invested in clearing out either genetical, hereditary, or inherited timelines, okay? And then it's stored up in the genetic code, being able to be relieved, okay? This is done through the Magician / Hierophant's energy, 2nd and 3rd house activation mid-month. And it requires some form of sacrifice or fasting in order to do this. You will be able to see what's on the table when it comes to past energies that are stored up in the form of memory, okay, within generational lines, okay? So this allows for deep purging of inauthentic connections when it comes to those cycles not being recycled again, Judgment, clear. Judgment is a very clear card when it comes to that. It allows for a non-recycling of those energies, okay, which is a positive thing. We also have here in the future position a leap of faith that requires no effort. There's like a time where there's kind of like a burnout later in the month, okay, and it allows you to basically activate the first, second, and possibly the fifth houses. Judgment is kind of an Aquarian, Saturnian energy. It's either indicated by fourth or fifth houses if it's in reverse. So there's something about home, property that is being released, money that is being sacrificed in order to attain a positive effect. This is known as a type of sacrifice or fasting, okay? The more spiritually inclined you are in doing this with intention, it produces a positive effect, and then you move in terms of timelines. You move beyond the blocks and the wounds of lines of fathers and mothers, okay? So this is a pretty powerful month in order for a type of ascension, once again, that involves sacrifice or fasting. It's some sort of physical surrender in order so that something in terms of a psychosomatic trauma that is passed down to you is no longer yours, and it's not allowed to be recycled, okay? This also has to do with media forms that come into your feeds, algorithms that you put out, that you send out with intention to bring you feedback, okay? Those are altered, those are shifted, and it activates primarily through the Hierophant's energy, through the belly and through the plexus, okay? So more exercises that you can do in terms of your own spiritual attunement to refine the senses, in relation to the material realm, okay, through a mode of sacrifice, prayer, or fasting will produce this effect. And that's basically the takeaway for this reading. So it's a pretty physiognomic outlook into, at least for Aquarians, Saturn will teach you how to develop a discipline, okay, a limitation in the chaos of existence. Okay, that's the 11th house. It also provides a way for you to be of service. Once you come into a purified state, this month allows you a timeline to sort of to release old karmas from the past that may not even be yours. And it shifts you onto a humanistic timeline that allows for experiential liberation, okay, of the mind, the body, and the soul, okay? But first you have to purify your energy through your system as well as through your resources so that they may be clean for the fool's journey to begin, okay? That's what I see with this month. This is something that heavily has to do with karma. Karma is first your block until it is acted out, okay? Once that is acted out, then it no longer has an effect, a karmic effect, okay? So yeah, hopefully that comes as some sort of esoteric clarity into whatever you're dealing with. And that's what I see for this month. Hopefully it helps her. Take care. Greetings and welcome to my dear Pisces. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. I am working through the YouTube platform to bring forward a significant look, potentially, into a mode of ascension for the energy of Pisces. The 12th house activation is strong in this reading. The moon as well as Neptune, any sort of benefic planets in the terms of the triplicity of water are also looked at, Jupiter, etc. But this is primarily for a Piscean sun, moon, or ascendant, okay? We look into 6-card spread plus a bridge position, 7 cards total for a pathway of ascension for the month of October, okay, 2025. We'll go ahead and get started now. I've already shuffled. Top position, we have the 5 of Cups in the reverse for the first triangle. We also have here the 5 of Swords in the reverse. Now, firstly, the 5 and the 5 reverse, there is a translation from the past to the present when it comes to the present or the middle of the month, okay? Or the present in terms of like the general like sort of spatial capacity for the month in terms of a space holder. It's the 5 and it translates from air to water. Five of Swords to Five of Cups. Five of Swords to Five of Cups. So there is already something that is opened up by the 55 master number, the angel number 55, which is a rare number. And usually, if you add them, it creates a fool's journey. It has Martian energy. 55 is also tied to double Leo or the twin sun, the dying sun that sets twice. So 2 days, 2 sunsets that you may see throughout the month may trigger the foundation of your reading, may trigger the foundation of what we see in this reading. Okay. Future position, we have the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, with a strong South Node disposition when it comes to that pentacle. There is also Mercury and the Moon that are dancing here on the ecliptic of the Sun. So there's something about messages that come post-eclipse, okay, that tell you to slow down when it comes to this future position. There's a lot of slowing down energy. A lot has been going on astrologically when it comes to the eclipse cycles that have happened in the previous month, okay, as well as the month previous, all the way back to the Lion's Gate, which was on the 8th of August, okay. So 8th of August plus early September plus September 21st, the lunar and solar eclipse in Pisces and the other sign respectively, they trigger this timeline to sort of take it easy, slow down, to regenerate, okay. So all minor arcana, lesser arcana, we have the 5 also here, 555, the 5 of rods in the reverse here, in the upright here. This is usually a card of tension, okay. So this is the ascension position. We have also in the past position the first major arcana, which is appui. It's French of like guidance or like overlooking, overseeing, being protected. This is the Empress energy in this particular deck. 7 is very strong. The 7th house as well as Libran energy is very strong in this Empress. So Empress watches over in the past position. We also have in the future position 2 of rods in the reverse. Okay. So if you take these 2 rod sequences, the 2 of rods, which also kind of makes a 10, the X, but also the 5 of rods, you get, I would say you get either 5 in the reverse, or you get 3 in the upright, in terms of rod sequences. So that is interesting, because a part of your own free will kind of shifts the dharmic code that is linked here with the triplicity of fire, okay? And that produces a certain effect. I would say it's more the 3 of rods. There is a gift here that is given to you when you get over yourself. There's a type of ego death with the 5 of cups. So a part of the mode of ascension, of being present, of holding time and space in this month, is being present and getting over nonsense, algorithms or depression, imbalances of the mind, regulating the breath. Okay, but this comes at great cost. There's a lot that has to do with dealing with others and letting sleeping dogs lie, not whipping dead horses, letting cards fall as they may. Okay, because of this, the friction, it creates a release. The friction creates a release. The friction of fire creates a release in water. Okay, and the 5, this triple 5 is very strong. 555 or 55 or just 5. Yeah, is very strong. Those are all powerful numbers that link. If you take the 5 and the 5, with the 5 you get 6 numerologically. So it's kind of like a block. At the same time, Mercury will be rebalanced. It will be recalibrated. Mercury is your skills, okay? It's your business aptitude. It's your communications with your most relevant connections within your city, within your business, and within your friend circles and brothers and sisters, okay? There also is the priestess, or not the priestess, but the empress that watches over all of this. So there is a sense that a lot is going on in the world, but you will be lifted up and almost desensitized by it. This nonsensical approach, it allows you to transcend in a way, okay? Meaning that you go above the material concern. You look beyond what is the trappings, okay, of our human condition in this biomechanical suit in order to find harmony with others. But first, you must create friction with them. You must stand in what you believe. Okay, if the Five of Swords is indicated here, there's something like being forced into the future, getting spaced out, finding the downloads and the codes through the Empress energy. Okay, being lifted from the 2nd to the 7th Venusian houses. Okay, the 2nd is all about contracts, business, work. The 7th is all about getting perspective of that through interactions with others. The frictions you create in your romantic relationships, okay, in your business relationships, in your partnerships in terms of karma, okay, will be relieved over time. And as the month progresses, you will not have to work so much. There's something about a spiritual South Node type of energy that is triggered through the Eight of Cups, Eight of Pentacles, and that relates to some sort of after effect of eclipse season, okay? And it also leads to a path that is a gift that allows you to see other perspectives from a distance. The further you can go out with your astral travels, okay, your astral projections, okay, and Pisces are naturally gifted at this, the better you will become at dealing with the harshness of reality, about dealing with conflicts with others in terms of ego. This is about a huge ego death surrender, and you come into a point that you're already watched over, okay, by Empress energy. You're moving from the 2nd to the 7th houses. That movement on a Venusian scale is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 houses away. 6 houses away. It has to do with the mind getting to a point of a block and then finding a skill set that actually allows you to transcend beyond that block. Okay. There also is, in terms of the cross position, the 10 of Cups, which is a fantastic position. This has to do with dealing with family lines, okay, significant relationships. So if you are in a significant relationship or in a situationship, things are bound to get a lot more complex in terms of that line. And in that, the friction will occur, that the 55 will open up for you, okay? A gateway that allows for the Empress to elevate Venusian energy. And that means that you would gain either charisma or gravitas. Beauty would radiate off your skin in terms of this month. It will naturally come through the Empress's energy and bring you to a point of concept. Not just the material beauty, okay, or the beauty that flows through what you eat, okay, and what you glow because of it. Not just because of a good diet, but it's actually a more spiritual concept, okay. The best way to do this is to align the base desires of sexuality, okay, and come to the nexus of transcendence, okay. That's through good communication. So communication will be the link to this type of energy, okay. Communication in terms of intellectual communication, emotionally intellectual communication, will lead you to the best way to find the path of ease, because something is going to be given to you in terms of this reading. It's a gift that comes through Jupiter. It comes through also this like letting go and letting flow type of energy that comes through the eclipses, the afterglow of the eclipses. Yeah? All right, that's what I see for this month. Hopefully that helps. If you want to look for other questions, you can send an email or whatever to go deeper to anything. Otherwise, yeah, I'm always available by email. Otherwise, wishing you well for this month. Hopefully that helps. Take what you will. Take care. Greetings and welcome to my dear Arians out there. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. I'm working through the YouTube channel to bring forward a look into the month of October 2025. So this is a prognosis, a spiritual prognosis in terms of a mode of ascension for the zodiac cusp of Aries, okay? So if you are here, you are Arian either by ascendant, by sun or moon, hopefully. It can be read in different ways, but basically this is the lens of Aquarius that we see some sort of mode of ascension, okay? And we're going to focus primarily on 6 cards, 3 cards and 3 cards overlaid in triangle formation. As they overlay, they create and rectify a quantum disposition. A message comes out of that portal. So we'll be looking at that in particular, and then there will be a bridge position. So we'll go ahead and get started here. I don't know if I'm missing anything. I mean, Mars is the traditional ruler of Aries. It tends to get a negative reputation. Also, when it comes to the major arcana, the Fool card. Fool card is all about making that step into the great dharmic code. It requires the first step, and usually the path of spirituality first encompasses looking like an idiot because there's no logic involved in it, okay? And Mars tends to do that. It tends to aggravate, okay, karma and create karma in order to execute whatever karma is necessary, even how ridiculous it may be, okay? And that allows for a certain degree of freedom for most Arians. There's like freedom to the point of war, you know? There's a fighter that's there, and that fighter, it ignites the wheel of the Zodiac into motion, into action. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. I've already shuffled. We're starting with the first apex of the first triangle, and we have here Jour, which is basically the star card, sun card, and that's powerful. We also have, let's see here, in the past position, first card, the Four of Swords, which is solitude. In the future position, we have the Page of Swords. Okay, now already there's something here. It's a wound that comes to light, okay, that is set in the light of day. This wound is psychosomatic, and throughout the month, when it comes to the time and space of the month, you know, the month is probably a duration of 30 or 31 days. It's October, so likely to be 31 days. There's going to be a great majority of that where you will have to deal in some sort of way with a healing journey, okay? It could be yours, it could be another. You might be healing yourself, or you might be healing another, okay? But it comes through the mirror technology of the moon. Now the moon, it is able to hold light. It also creates subtle bodies through the north and south node, okay? Symbolizing your desires as well as your past, okay, that need to be triggered, and they also help to formulate the eclipses, okay? So ever since, I would say a month, maybe a month and a half ago, all the way back to the Lion's Gate on the 8th of August, there have been a cycle of astrological events that produce certain effects on a physiognomic level that are symptoms, okay, of what we are going through psychosomatically, psychologically, okay? And these need to be brought to light, they need to be purified, okay, by the sun's energy. And sometimes that requires the technology of the moon in order to do so, okay? There also is, the sword sequence is very strong in the first triangle, past and future. In the past, we have the Four of Swords. In the future, we have the Page of Swords. It's a court card, but it's a lesser court card. You know, if you take the Page of Swords away from the Four, you get the Three. Three of Swords is usually indicated of the healing process that needs to occur, either through a past relationship. Okay, and if you guys are dealing with this in the future, there will be less communication from this person. It's required that you have the space away from them in order to find the insight, so that they can find the insight in terms of a mirroring that happens through the astral realm. That's the moon, the moon's energy. So the moon, its disposition, its ability to create lapses, okay, and dialogue with the sun creates stretches in the astral realm, stretchings of time and space, in order that light in the form of astral bodies can be projected, okay? And on this canvas, basically, there is an interaction between you and another person, okay? This person can come from a deep past. They can be an inner child, okay? Anything like that. And the idea here is to nurture that thing, okay? That thing or person, that entity, okay? In the astral realm. And this is all one substrata of our reading so far. We have the Three of Swords, which I've been harping on about quite a bit. It shows up here. In the ascendant position. We also have the Two of Cups in the past position. We have in the future position Eight of Rods. Okay, now this definitely is setting the tone for this month in terms of the Two of Cups combined with the Four of Swords. There's basically here a connection that is still felt throughout the ages. And this is a soul connection, soul tie. But it produces a certain karma where you cannot talk to this person anymore. They're like an old, they're an old company, okay, and they can go as far as many generations or lifetimes, okay. Because of this, it creates the Eight of Rods, the intestine dispute, okay, dispute intestine, which is like a guttural reaction that disempowers the communication capacity with this person. A part of this connection has to go through the 7 revision of the past, okay? Not necessarily to relive it, but to review it, okay? And then to gracefully move away from it, this Two of Cups. And it doesn't mean that the connection is over. It just means that there's a time of less communication with this person. And it creates a great deal of pain. And the psychical connection with this person will be quite strong. Meaning that in the astral realm, you will be able to have conversations with this person, whether or not you are versed in remembering that, okay? And it's going to be, I'll be very honest, quite challenging, because the eclipse is that big eject button and the delay of its effects are strong in this reading. So the eclipses that are occurring in September, they have like a shadow that trails off all throughout your reading here. And it's important to know which houses have been affected by that eclipse for your charts in individual looks into your own astrological charts, okay? There also is here the card of union, which is a lover's type of energy. The Hierophant is here, binding 2 hands between 2 different people. So that's the challenge here. There's an expectation of conditional, worldly, sacramental or governmental requisites between you and this person. And that causes disruptions in the timeline between you and them across generations, or across lifetimes. And any sort of disharmony there when it comes to the terms and conditions of past marriages with these people, past unions, past contracts, past soul contracts, okay? They all come into the fore, and there's a great expectation for you two to be united. So this is a very specific reading, very specific. And you have to note that all soul connections have karma in them. Karma is everything, karma is everywhere in terms of even trauma bonds. But I do sense here a very strong need to observe the moon in its relation to produce light, okay? If it becomes more of a crescent moon, okay, or a new moon where there is no light, or little light with a crescent moon, okay, or full moon when there's full light, all of this will help to remedy the situation. The closer you get to full moon, the more it will be difficult to find the remedy. But the more you feel there, the more it becomes cognizant, and already there's healing in the observance of that moon, okay? So yeah, that's what I recommend in terms of, this reading has been a bit heavy. Wishing you well, my dear Aries. All right, take care now. Greetings and welcome to my dear Taurians out there. Welcome. This is Ron from Terror of the Twin Sun. I am working here from Cairo, Egypt, doing readings for this month in particular. This is the month of October 2025. Already we are nearing the completion of the year. Definitely not the completion of the Zodiac, but of the year. We will be working with Venus's energy to produce a certain look. A prognosis, a look into the mode of ascension for Taurian energy. Okay, second house is open. Venus comes and graces us with her light. It's a very special light that radiates off of Venus. It's definitely not the biggest planet, but it's definitely one of the bigger feminine energies that are out there. And her light is very special. I mean, all planets emanate in a certain way. And each light is particular in bringing in the radiation and the frequencies of solar solar proclivities. Okay, so the Venusian light it's special because it glows in a certain way, and it reifies and reprojects. Okay, as a mirror technology, certain variances of light that activate the second and seventh houses. Okay, those are the houses of Taurus and Libra, and the introverted Venus, which is like the Venus at home, okay, is the second house, and Taurus is naturally at home there. Also, another feminine energy is the moon. So the moon, as well as Venus, they have a relation to the horns of the bull, okay, left and right. Okay, so those are some interesting insights into Venusian energy. I've already shuffled this deck. We're going straight into the reading. This requires two triangles, 2 3-card spreads. So that makes 6 cards plus a bridge position if we look into that, the 7th card. And basically, we'll be looking at this in terms of a way of ascension, past, present, future, 6 cards, 2 realities of time and space. Okay, and then through that overlay, a message comes out, and hopefully we can track that message esoterically. So we have here in the upper apex of the first triangle, militari, which is milital, which is basically the knight. Excuse me, the knight of swords is the first card. We have here in the past position the 9 of Pentacles, which points to the North Node type of energy here. 9 of Pentacles. We also have in the future position Star card in reverse. Okay, interesting. Already what I'm seeing here, do not let the desires of others dictate that in which you need. Do not let it voice that which is best for you. Okay, so the desires of others mean nothing when it comes to a spiritual mode of ascension, and you are here at least to learn this in this month. Your guidance system is kind of messed up in a way. It requires a communion with guides that are not exactly direct. You will get flows of information that have your mind racing this month, and it's important to ground that in some type of way, Taurus. The best way to do that is to become objective, to activate the 11th house, because this is the card of Leo, and this is the Queen of Rods in reverse, okay, Bon Femme, which is it's kind of a chill energy, but it has passive aggressive tendencies. There is a passive aggressiveness of the media formats that are being expressed this month, and it's important for you to disconnect from that. And part of your ascension is to do this, to disconnect from that and to see it from the highest of the eagle's eye, okay? From the highest of the eagle's eye. So from the highest perspectives beyond the mountain of Capricorn to the 11th house, okay? Where you can be able to change your algorithms on a social media, in a social media type of way, but also in a spiritual type of way. You are able to change the output variance, okay, for what is being available for you to consume on an intellectual capacity, what you can handle there. This reading so far indicates a type of burnout that needs to complete itself. It's a healing process that will be revised post the eclipse season. We have here the 9 of Pentacles in the reverse, which usually indicates, once again, it's that guidance system, and there's also the Ace of Cups. Now, 2 things can be evolving here in terms of this. If you take the Ace of Cups from this Star card, and there's a Star card with two cups going into earth or water. Yeah, into water. In this deck, it's 2 cups that fuse together, 2 rivers that come together, okay, and they fuse into one. And then there's a celestial sort of planetary glyphs and a celestial star that's above. That's why it's the star card. So there's something about like the hidden truths of astrology, the hidden truths of the occult, that take one stream and make them into two because it's in reverse. When it's like this, it's two into one. When it's like this, it's one into two, one into two. So it's like there's a potential for you splitting your energy in a way that that produces a certain effect, but it becomes toxic. Okay, so you need to focus in on certain fears that are produced around connections that are potentially conditional, that have like a potential to take you off guard. Okay. So if you are being offered, for example, or you have been offered a connection or something valuable, you know, an energetic sort of expression of love in some sort of way, and it triggered you, or like you don't know what to do about that, the idea here is to come into a way of finding out what's best to do, okay, by understanding your own passivity to that offer. Because it's coming from a violent place, or it's coming from a place that's filled with scarcity. Usually Ace of Cups is a positive thing, but if it's paired with this card, okay, it becomes the Ace in reverse, because it's two in reverse plus the Ace in the upright makes the Ace of Cups in reverse. So it's kind of an easy come, easy go type of energy. If someone's offering that to you, like in the form of a love bomb, then it becomes a trigger, and then you retreat. The idea here is to understand the disposition of ill fate when it comes to astrological tendencies, when it comes to predictions, okay? The future is all about a spiritual truth that comes through the 10th house. It's the opposite of the 4, okay? And it brings forward the idea that that one turns into two, that things split, okay? And because of that, it produces this 9 of swords. And that's kind of a tricky card, because it's either you become trapped in fear or another person becomes trapped in fear. Whatever that's happening here, it's a splitting of your energy, and you go on a different spiritual path. And it produces a certain effect that is designed so that you are more on the right guidance system, okay? Trust your intuition when it comes to this. The Queen of Cups, the advice here is clear. Trust your intuition will guide you. But if your intuition puts you into a place of fear, then you have to see if what you're picking up on is yours, or it's fed to you, either by society or by another person. These emotions may not be yours, okay? That's what I see with this particular month in particular. Wishing you well. That was kind of an all over the place reading, very particular, very tailored. Do wish you well. All right, take care. Greetings and welcome to my dear Geminis. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. I'm working here on the YouTube platform to bring forward a look into the future for the month of October 2025. So yeah, these cards are already shuffled. We'll be working with, that's a pretty intense light. But anyways, we're working with the quantum field and using tarot to look into two particular realities, past, present, and future, in a triangle formation. To 3 cards and then 3 cards. So it's 6 cards total, 3 and 3. They overlap to create a rectification, and it's a kind of a gateway to look into the future for the energy of Gemini. So Mercury rules over this reading. Thoth, the Trismegistus as well. Mercury, in terms of any incarnations of Thoth, will help guide us in terms of this reading. And essentially, we're looking to see a mode of ascension. Okay, ascension is like along the lines of Dolores Cannon or any sort of like spiritual new age belief system that we are going to rise up in terms of our vibrational content. Okay, in the quantum realm, there are two potential states, two potential timelines at least we can see, and then these timelines overlay to bring forward a third. Okay, that's the mystery of like kind of like alchemy when it comes to working with different algorithms and seeing what happens in terms of filtration through the quantum field, where we can see what may be going on. So yeah, this is for guidance. It's kind of for entertainment as well. If you find it funny, yeah, please add that like or whatever to the channel for the algorithm, blah blah blah. Okay, we'll go and get started now. First card that shows up is the Nine of Cups in the upright position, or reverse position. It's in the reverse, and this has to do with authenticity, an authentic connection, something that you may choose to go through in terms of a timeline also. That's the apex, so this is the ascension mode. We have in the past position here the death card, which is mortalité in French, and this card is very particularly powerful. The Mars as well as Pluto, this position allows for transformation. Death is always a transformation from one state to a next. We have in the future position Five of Pentacles showing up here. Mars's energy comes in strong with that particular card. Overlaying the second state is the second triangle. We have the Ten of Swords. Okay, Ten of Swords usually indicates pain. It indicates the end of a cycle when it comes to thought. Okay, finding many truths also. The truths causing convergence, different minds, collectives causing convergence to force out something births out into reality at the end of the sword sequence. We also have the Eight of Swords in the past position. Already there's a difference of the Two of Swords. So there's a new moon that will come relevant in the early month, first 2 weeks, that would be very positive. Eclipse energy also enforcing it the past 2 months as two spheres of truth. Okay, from the Lion's Gate into October, there's a powerful eclipse evolution that culminates in September. Okay, and it produces certain timelines. These are being shown here with transition, death, transition, and breaking out of something, breaking out of a psychological way of thinking. We also have here the card of dissension, which is the Chariot card in this deck. And it's in the reverse. Okay, now that's another major arcana. All right, so we have our triangle, our quantum triangle, okay? And we will get started basically on the reading now. So, when it comes to the past position, two different states of reality, we have death pointing to this card of critique. So there's a way of thinking and getting trapped into an idea of perfection. This idea of perfection gives you solace because you can take your time. But something has already changed, something has already shifted, and it has to do with the foundation of the Eight of Swords. Okay, when you think of Eight of Swords in the traditional Rider-Waite, there's a woman usually blindfolded, and there's like swords that encompass her. She's trapped inside there in a way of self-talk. Okay. Where it's like you're talking to yourself, you're isolated, you're blind in actually perceiving outside of the outer world, outside of the world of shielding, okay? But you're also protected, so it's a duplicity here. It's like, yeah, you can be protected, but you're trapped in, okay? It's like prison can be a home, but it also is a box where you can't get out. It's also like the idea of like having like jewelry or like a diadem or like a crown that produces the effect that you are royalty, but then it also weighs you down because of its gross materiality, made of silver, made of copper, made of gold and jewels. That weighs down the king's head, weighs down the queen's head, but it still is like it gives power, but then it also takes it away from your posterity because of the heaviness. Okay, let's see. So the takeaway is that with this, I'm so glad that light is off. That's much better. The takeaway is that with this, there's a transmutation of a psychology. Your subconscious is reprogrammed, and that happens during the eclipse season. When this happens, you have to hit rock bottom. You have to go back to the second house away from the eighth, okay? And it produces a certain effect there, that kind of movement, because it's very fixed and then it collapses. It's like you have your crown taken away. You have a certain way that psychologically defines you, and then you transform through it, okay? And Geminis are good at that because they're a mutable sign. They are within the triplicity of air, okay? And they're flexible because of that. So working with Scorpionic energy is a positive thing. It actually produces a house effect, okay? From 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8. That's 6 houses, which is particular. So it's kind of like you have to rely on Mercury, on the logical practicality of your skill set, okay, to produce this type of change, but it's a deep one, okay? Your mode of ascension here is the Nine of Cups in reverse plus the Ten of Swords, okay? What does that produce? It produces a certain effect here that has to do with coming to an ultimate higher sensitivity, okay? If you move from the 8 to the 10, it's a difference of 2. The Two of Swords means an eclipse is active, and the feminine energy that is within that eclipse produces a certain effect. You become open, you become authentic, okay? Nine of Cups in reverse, it produces authenticity, and then you find a path, you make a choice in terms of the creativity of your life to actually do something in a spiritual way, to open up at least one channel out of 9, okay? Because usually it's like you're closed off if you have the 9 in the upright, but with it in reverse, you open up to sincerity, you open up to an authentic, resonant thing, and it makes you very sensitive because of that, okay? It heightens your thinking pattern. Something about this choice that is inevitable is going to trigger you and maybe even cause you pain. And through that nexus of pain, something may emerge, a transformation may emerge. You may also break free from something with the Chariot in reverse, okay? But it's not your typical thing. I see here the development of karmic ties with people that need to be dissolved in time, okay? Meaning that you could start timelines with people, either in work or in pleasure or in terms of romance, okay? And it produces a certain effect that is not what you want it to be. Okay, if you're looking for traditional relationships to last when it comes to this, they last but with dysfunction. Okay, certain timelines about work can work, but they work with dysfunction. Or you manifest a new project that actually will help be conducive for your future. And also with the card of the Chariot in reverse, it indicates a breaking out of a situation. On a subliminal level or on another level, the Devil card shows up in reverse. When the Devil's in reverse, it sets free and breaks free karmic chains. Okay, so that's basically the takeaway here. The Crossing Bridge card, which is the 7th card, is the 7 of Pentacles. Saturn is a challenge. Saturn will limit you. It would also set you free through mastery of a type of discipline, okay? And also aligning your biological rhythm with the order of the universe. And that will produce certain effects, okay? Now, the best thing to do here is to look for a social way or a social group of people that will help you to get to the state that you want to be. And if you're going through a crisis this month, don't worry. Things will fall out that don't need to be there. That's basically here, the takeaway. Hopefully that helps. All right, take care now. Greetings and welcome, my dear Cancers. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. I am working here on the YouTube platform to bring forward a look into the future for the month of, it would be October of 2025. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Basically, the cards are shuffled already. I'm working with a deck known as the 1890 deck Grand Alieta School, so it's a very old deck. We will be using the quantum triangle to look into states of reality and then find out a path of ascension for the energy of Cancer. It could be a Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, Ascended Cancer. The Moon will come and provide us with the lessons that we need to learn here. So we will track and see if there is anything that is tied to the Moon in terms of the cards that show up. to procure our message, or it's the dance of the moon and Saturn when it comes to Cancer's opposite, the antithesis to the fourth house. The opposition is the 10th house, and that would show us a bit more through Saturn's energy some of the lessons we can learn here karmically. Okay, we'll go and get started now. First card that shows up on the pinnacle is Augmentation, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, Wheel of Fortune is particular in this card deck. There's a monkey with a rod on a branch, and then below it there's a man who's tied to a wheel, as well as a rat. Okay, so rat and monkey come in strong here, and the card is flipped and it shows augmentation as opposed to fortune. So fortune can be, it's fortune of the fool, fortune of the brave. It can be positive and negative, because there are different people that spin on the wheel, and whatever they do in terms of animation, okay, that's the rat, will activate the wheel, and then the wheel changes the social dynamics or the social roles of those people in question. So, I mean, if you were a private client, then it would be like, okay, you have augmentation here. There's something about what's going on in your workplace, for example, I would say to a client, that is going to be augmented, but it happens when things are taken away from people. Sometimes augmentation means that you have to lose a job before you come to a point where you're at another position in terms of your career that is more fitting for you. Okay, that's one way of seeing it. But augmentation, generally speaking, is good because the timelines in terms of the wheel, the karma, spins out. It spins out of control, and then the machine breaks. Okay, if the machine is breaking, then that's a good thing. There also is here the Two of Swords in the past position, which is it's pretty prominent. Once again, there's something about the moon that is going to be very relevant in terms of projections of this reading. And with the moon showing up here in the Two of Swords, okay, it doesn't show physically, but in the Rider-Waite it usually does. And usually it's a moon. If it's in reverse, it's a full moon. So there's something about a full moon in the past, beyond this reading, in the past somewhere, that relates to some sort of insight. Okay, it could be the solar eclipse, it could be the lunar eclipse, more specifically the lunar eclipse that happened in September. Okay, and it showed something artificial, faux. Okay, faux, which is artificial, F-A-U-X on the top here, right here, and Two of Swords, and it's crossing. Okay, so when two swords cross, it's usually like a discernment point. They call it the discrimin in a path sequence. Okay. So if the path of the initiate is to walk down a path, the paths will cross, and then a fork will be created, and then a crisis happens. If the crisis is in reverse, okay, if the cross is in reverse, then it's upside down, then it creates the full moon energy, as opposed to a discrimination point where you're supposed to make a choice, as opposed to a moon that's like full, which is absolute, it's partial, and then that creates a sword. Okay, so it's kind of a sliver of a moon resembles a sword, a full moon. Okay, a sliver of a sword is kind of like a new moon. It's black moon totally, if it's totally new. But then it's produced by two swords. That black moon is produced by two swords. One that comes before it, it's one crescent, and then the other that crosses it, it's the other crescent. Okay, so those two swords cross, and that produces moon energy. Anyways, in the future position, we have the World card, Voyage. Okay. And this is a powerful card. It has to do with exploration. It also has to do with adoration, accolades, the Ouroboros, which is one of the sacred mystery symbols. Okay, the snake that eats itself. The North and South node will be very strong, which also produces eclipse energy. So whatever eclipse energy, it's rolling out through here, and it's bringing augmentation to you, and it brings the world to you. Okay. At least to the cancers that I'm reaching out to right now. And we also have the Pour-Parler, which is the Seven of Rods. Okay, we also have in the past position the Three of Rods. Okay, in reverse. Now, when you add the 7 and 3 in reverse, you get the Four of Rods. There's something about a pathway of initiation that is strong here. You need to find a platform in order to augment yourself. Okay, it could be a social media platform. You could meet people there, and then there's resistance. Okay, there's something about this moon that talks about getting rid of nonsense when it comes to relationships, and also when it comes to passion projects, your projects. You need to whittle down and find the right path. The best way to do that is to get on a platform with someone that you trust as a collaborator, as a partner. Okay, and it moves forward to the Six of Swords in the reverse. Okay, now it's another moon energy, but this one points to a conversation with another that doesn't happen, and then it gets stronger. The emotional connection gets stronger. I'll be very honest, there is someone in the future that will have a fixed energy towards you, and it will be a bit it will be a bit like an emotional intelligent intuition. It will be like telepathy when it comes to them trying to fixate on you. Okay, the fixed cross is very strong in this reading, and the fixed cross will bring you the gateway into a quantum jump or quantum leap of some sort in the later part of October. Okay, which is powerful. So look at your zodiac chart, see if there's any fixed cross energies there, see if there are any squares or oppositions. Those ones are ones that you have to be careful of. And if the person that you're dealing with has these energies, you will feel them from a distance, even if you are ready to jump onto a new timeline. Okay. Now we have here in the crossing position the King of Swords. King of Swords is usually an objective type of energy. It does make a difference because we have the Six of Swords, the Two of Swords, both in reverse, plus the King of Swords. Now, when the King of Swords comes to the 8 that is produced through the 6 and the 2 in reverse, so it's 8 in reverse, it creates either the 7 or the 9. Okay, the 7 or the 9 in reverse, which is interesting. So I see here a break of a cycle, setting yourself free, potentially through ascension. Okay, bringing also the subconscious information, the patterns that you go through, into a transcendent mode, and it allows for a setting free, a breaking through fear, and also a need to go back and retrace to where you've been. Okay, if you're changing platforms in terms of connections, in terms of relationships, if you're changing that format, or in terms of like passion projects or whatever, there's going to be a natural whittling down of your connections. Okay, and it's important to trust in that and to invest into the right platform for augmentation. Okay, because the world is just beyond. It is advised to go and travel, to find distance with others, and to go through a pathway of healing by seeing into the future, by jumping into the next timeline. Okay, so hopefully that helps. If you want to look more, you can always reach out to me and book a private consultation. Otherwise, wishing you well. Take care. Greetings and welcome to my dear Leos out there. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Welcome to the channel. We shall be doing a reading for the month of October for the energy of Leo. So any placement in Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, etc. This is a Leo reading for the month of October 2025. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. I'm working with the 1890 deck. This will be a quantum triangle reading. Grand Alieta deck, the Alieta school. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get shuffling with this. The quantum triangle is it's a 6-card spread, 2 overlaid triangles. They rectify to create a quantum field, and then we can do a reading, a mode of ascension reading through the quantum triangle. So this is a quantum triangle reading for the month of October 2025 for the energy of Leo. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so first, first card of the spread, top of the triangle, pinnacle of the first triangle, is Force Majeure, which is Devil card in reverse. Devil card in reverse. We have also in the past position the Two of Swords in the upright. We also have in the forward position Femme Blonde, or the Queen of Cups. Okay, that is the first time and space. So basically, it has to do with excuse me. Has to do with three cards, past, present, and future. And this tripod is definitely not working in the favor of things. Three cards, past, present, and future with a mode of ascension. Okay, so it's pretty simple in terms of a linear progression to the future. This is the mode of ascension. We have an overlay here. It's the card of jour, which is basically the sun card, star card. Okay, more like the sun card, star card. Moon's also here. So it's this is a tricky deck because it encompasses a lot of different symbols. A lot of different interpretations can come from it, and it's very particular. So this is the Egyptian school French deck, French-Egyptian Alieta deck. Again, it's from 1890. So yeah, jour is usually daytime. It's in French, like bonjour is good day. So it's daytime. We have that combined with the Devil card in reverse, which is good. We have here in the past position La Maison combined with the Two of Swords, Ten of Pentacles. Okay, this Ten of Pentacles has a compass on it with an eclipse point between the two, between the sun and the moon. Okay. Future position we have combined with the Queen of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. All right, so I'll go ahead and get started with all of that. Bridge position we have transition points with Death card. Okay, so 8th house activation strongly in this month. So when it comes to October, there's a pathway of ascension. It has to do with the combination of Virgo's energy and so Mercury and Saturn. Mercury and Saturn are going to produce an effect here. It has to do with breaking out of things. The moon is the main way it will come into effect. Okay, so the moon is a mirror technology. It allows for consciousness to be represented by redirecting solar energy. Okay, so things come closer to the moon in terms of a healing modality. The moon is a key to that because of Saturn, the devil in reverse, which points to the Chariot. Okay, so there's something like a great potential of getting out of something and then healing through that release. Healing through the release of something that doesn't serve you. This is the pathway of ascension. Okay, so it's deep transformation. Deep transformation when it comes to work, when it comes to transportation. Okay, going still and being still, not working, not transporting yourself to other times and spaces through a vehicle. Okay, that's Chariot in reverse. So yeah, it's pretty strong. Usually when there is a reversal of a major arcana, I go to the opposite house of that, which is the 10th house to the 4th. There's something about a shift. It requires a lot of going in. It's affected by the eclipses, and it's supposed to heal you. This is a very deep energy, okay? And it's been triggered ever since the Lion's Gate for you in particular. First house, second house, third house, fourth house, etc. Moving up in terms of the progression of houses in the Zodiac, okay? And generally speaking, there is something like a new moon in the past, an eclipse or a new moon, a lunar eclipse or a moon that is occulted, that is like the sliver of a moon or completely black, completely occulted. That moon has led to a progression. You've held on to that, and there's a change, a breaking of some sort of karmic chain here. Okay, very strongly accentuated by all major arcana here in the ascension point. So this is a major month for Leos in terms of this type of transformation. As soon as you focus on one thing, it can be another, or it can multiply. And it can all be congruous to some sort of deeper spiritual shift that is personal, that is hidden from the world, okay? And it also has to do with embracing feminine energy, okay, and feminine potential, and going through a major shift in terms of that spiritual shift, okay? So it encompasses all parts of reality, but then the takeaway is that it's deeply spiritual, fundamentally spiritual, this shift, okay? When we look to the future, it moves to the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, okay? When the Ace of Pentacles is in reverse, such as this, then the offering is taken away. And then if you do the math, it's the Ace of Pentacle, 1 Pentacle minus from the 10 gives you the 9 of Pentacles. There's clearly some sort of message from the infinite that comes through a meditation on the moon, its cycles, its activation of the north and south nodes in relation to the earth, okay? It's physical, but it's deeply activating some sort of attunement, a restructuring of your energy in terms of flow, okay? So the flow is supposed to come in terms of this. It becomes more valuable with the Queen of Cups. So your intuition is heightened, but you make a sacrifice in order to do this, okay? It has to do with the 10 into the Ace in the reverse becomes the 9. So basically your intuition is going to be strongly accentuated when it comes to this transformation, when it comes to the end of something, breaking out of a cycle, okay? And being still in that, not having to go and travel to do things, okay? Going deeper within and doing the traveling within yourself, deeply within yourself, okay? And it could be physical also, like things can crop up in terms of your body trying to tell you something, and it gives you a great deal of clarity. There's a lot of lunar energy, Mercury, Saturn, and Mars, Pluto. So all of these planets are going to help you to realize this type of awakening. It's an awakening. It's like an emotional or intuitive knowing that contributing to things that don't serve you, okay, is a thing of the past, and you have to re-engage your compass this month. All right, that's what I see with this. Hopefully that helps. If you want to look to other questions, you can send a private inquiry, and we can have a consultation. Otherwise, take care. Greetings and welcome to my dear Virgos. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. The 6th house is open. Mercury comes to help us with this reading, okay? And we will be looking into the quantum field, 2 triangle spreads of 3 cards. So it's 6 cards total, 2 times 3, 2 triangles overlaid to create a quantum interpretation of what's going on for the month of October for Virgos, okay? So 6th house is open. Mercury comes and help us with this reading, please. So yeah, this is a spiritual reading. It's for also entertainment purposes. Please take it lightly. If you can use this in any sort of way to ascend, okay? The theme is ascension in the by staying in the present moment, okay? Ascending in the quantum potential, okay, of what may happen in October. Just take what you will, and thank you for tuning in. So I've already shuffled the cards. We're going to go ahead and get started now. The pinnacle of the first triangle is the Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Femme Brune. So she sits stable, she sits ready. There is a command and an intuitive knowing how to deal with your time, your energy, your resources. And it's like part of the ascension has to do with this idea that you are in firm position. You have to be able to control intuitively, okay, your relationships, your work, okay, your relationship to reality, to grounding. The grounding will be firm, and it will reach to the foundation. It will go to the highest point, okay? You can scale mountains with this type of energy. We have in the past position the 9 of Swords in the reverse. This is just defiance, défiance, which is, I guess, French for rebellion, or like kind of rejection or like deflection of certain things. So there's a strong energy here of kind of like a shield that is broken through. You have a breakthrough in terms of like being able to see certain things. The Queen also is able to do this, to see the past clearly. This is the past position. We're moving to the forward position. We have Justice card. Okay, Libra, as well as in this deck, it's Sagittarius. Michael is the angel that would be here. And yeah, Justice is a card of Libra. So this activates your second house in the future. There's something about like wealth for Virgos, okay? Especially if you're a solar Virgo, ascended Virgo, the second house activation is strong with this one because it activates Libra and as well Sagittarius, which would be the it would be 6, 7, 8, 9. It would be 4 houses away. Sagittarian energy would still produce like a type of wealth, but it's wealth through internalization and philosophy and truth. Wealth through truth, having resources through truth, and knowing knowledge systems. So that's the future card in terms of the quantum field. We have here also overlaying the second triangle. We have ennui, which is the 4 of Cups, Pinnacle position combined with the Queen of Pentacles. Basically, there is something like interacting with another who is blocked. Could be that you're giving something to someone who's blocked, or you're giving like mercy to someone who's blocked. Okay, it's a benevolent act to do this. It's a kind act, but it shows your richness if you're able to give compassion to those who are already sealed off from you, that have blocked you or anything like that. There's something like that that's talking about the mode of ascension, an action item. We also have here in the past position the 6 of Cups. Okay, if you add the 6 and the 4, there's a 10. So there's a soul connection here. Could have to do with family, but it definitely is a connection that is powerful. Okay, that also, it still is a blocking type of energy with the feminine and the masculine here strong. There is a strong blocking type of energy with this, and there's a motif. It leads to judgment. Okay, so interesting. If it has to do with business, you're going to be able to revive something, and it helps you to speak the truth. It helps you to be authentic when you work with this type of energy. Michael is all over this, but also Gabriel, the messenger and the one who atones people, where he's able to like heal through harmonic resonance, and then to bring messages to these people. It's kind of like a messenger of the gods type of energy. So this is very powerful. Both major arcana in the future position. So later on in the month, there's going to be a strong figuring out of what to do. The Hermit does come out. That's primarily Virgo's card. Okay, and it's here in the bridge position. So there is a pathway here of trying to do the right thing. Okay, trying to find the right truth, trying to be true to oneself, and also making sure that your chakras, okay, making sure that your cycles are clean. Okay, Justice, it talks about balancing. If the Judgment card does show up, okay, then this is a balancing out of karmic cycles, very strongly elicited by the 7th house energy. But then it shows in your 2nd and your 4th houses, okay, and that's pretty intense. If this is so, then it allows for a lot of feminine energy that is produced through Justice, okay, and also the androgynous energy of the Hermit. It brings forward this Judgment card, okay, which is a strong Aquarian activation. There is a balancing out of things here that is very strongly brought about in your path. It's going to require you to go deeply within and to make forgiveness with others, okay? One person in particular, that is a soul tie. If you can do this, you can break through the fear and then gain the psychic aptitude to go ahead and do this, okay? If you do this, you provide justice and harmony in your environment. And this is something that is called to be done because you are told to do so from another realm, okay? If you are called to do this, it will lead you further on your spiritual path. That's basically the takeaway for this reading, all right? Hopefully that helps. If you want to look to any other questions, you could always send a consultation request through my Gmail. Otherwise, take care. Greetings and welcome to my dear Libras. This is Ron from tarotofthetwinsun. I am working here on the YouTube platform to bring forward a look into the month of October for the energy of Libra. Welcome Libras, welcome back to the channel if you've been watching for a while. Welcome back. Hopefully things are good with all of you. Welcome to all you new Librans that come to this content. I work here with the field of the quantum to produce a reading, a prognosis, or a look into the future for the month of October for the energy of Libra. Okay, the quantum triangle is two triangles composed of 3 cards, and so that's 6 cards total. They overlap to create rectification. Rectification allows for sort of coloration within the quantum field, and we can find a way to deliver a message for Libra through that. There also will be a bridge card. It's a 7th card that's under the triangle that allows us to see like the sort of obstacle, but also the leap forward into the future. Okay. Hopefully everything's going well. I've already shuffled these cards. They're prepared. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now. On the apex, we have firstly the 5 of Swords in the reverse. Okay, this is usually indicative of the pathway of the houses of desire and the houses of the mental plane. Okay, so the houses of manas, which is like intellect, but also wayward thinking, but also concentration. Okay, it has to do with the mind. It has to do with the mind's ability to pierce the elements in order to produce the truth. Okay, hopefully. And with the 5 of Swords in reverse, there's kind of a silence, a return back to ground one, back to truth. Okay, so we have here the 5 of Swords on the apex. We also have here in the past position Moon card in reverse. This is the Moon card, and it's pretty traditional. There are 2 towers. Okay, there is the moon, and then there's an occulted sky. There's also traditional sort of symbols of some sort of thing in the bottom, in the water, like a lobster or something, and then the two hounds. Okay, now we have this in the reverse in the past position, which can mean one of 2 things. It can be instead of a full moon, it's an occulted moon, which is a new moon. Could be also an eclipse energy. But with the moon in reverse, it stimulates the 4th house, points to the 10th. So it's kind of like devil in reverse, Saturn in reverse. Okay, so that's interesting. We have here in the future position the Hanged Man in the reverse. Now this Hanged Man is particular in this deck. It's known as La Prudence, and then it has to do with carefulness. And there's a snake below the 2 legs that the lady shows, and there's also like a caduceus, a health symbol. Okay, so she knows the cure. In this one, the Hanged Man knows the cure. Okay, so this is past, present, future. This is the Ascension point. We also have here in the Ascension Tower card in the reverse. So this Tower card is pretty intense. There's a lightning bolt that is sent down. Okay, that's usually Jupiter's energy, and it breaks down Saturn, and it breaks down one of the towers. The Tower card is also a type of moon energy. Okay, so that's in reverse. There's some sort of like there's something that is dodged here by actually doing the work, going back into timelines and figuring out what the truth is. There is a detective type of energy. It's suggested through these cards that you do that. That's somehow a pathway of your ascension, to go back to the foundation of things. Okay, because there is a foundation, and it's like it could have been worse, something like that. With that foundation, we have here in the past position 3 of Rods. We have here in the future position the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, in action. So this is interesting because for one thing, there is going to be something of a heaviness that a lot of people are dealing with, like a sort of a heaviness, but also like a cold type of energy, a restricted type of energy. It's coiled up. Okay, it's not relaxed. It's tense, and this leads to paralysis for those people. A lot of people. I'm not saying that you're one of them, but if these cards are to represent you in the future, okay, there is a type of challenge. It's like the cards are warning to not go into inaction, or if you go into inaction, do so. If you go into a place of stillness and silence, do so with concentration. Okay, concentrated meditation, concentrated breath work, space holding, okay, restfulness in the proper way of doing things, sleeping efficiently. These are things that, that are indicated through these two cards in the future, okay. We have here in the Ascension points the Five of Swords combined with the Tower card in reverse. There is a strong Saturnian energy. It moves from the 11th to the 10th. And then you flip those. So then it would move from the 5th to the 4th. Okay? If that's the case, then there is a need to go inward and not look, not to embellish lies. To go truthfully and go inward. That's basically what it says. Do the work, go to the past, find the foundation of certain things that have been causing you blocks. Especially anything that's been brought up in the recent eclipse cycles, or anything that you manifested during the Lion's Gate unknowingly. Okay, the cards are very strongly showing in the present and future position to go forward and to do the right things and to set your boundaries and know what kind of work you're supposed to be doing, or to also figuring out which friend circle is good for you in terms of influence, what kind of information or line of work is good for you, okay? Because it could have been worse. That's what it's saying. There also is something here about, I would say it's like in the past, getting out and then waiting. Getting out of like a situation and then waiting. You've been in kind of a waiting position here. Because of that, it affords you the time to go deeply within, find the foundation, and then understand why you wouldn't participate because of toxic behaviors, toxic cycles that have been done before, okay? So there's a real strong energy to find rest, to find peace, to let go, and to be patient for the gift, okay? The gift eventually will come if you can practice mindful sadhana of some sort, mindful spiritual practice, conscious effort in terms of that pathway. It's very much required, okay? Especially after the eclipse, the eclipse season. We have here in the bridge position the card of the Magician / Hierophant, okay? And this is a strong card. It's a strong card because Magician usually is one of the first cards. It's either 0 or 1. 1 is usually the Fool. 0 is Magician, usually. On some decks it differs. In this one it does differ. Magician shows up here. But then it's also kind of the Hierophant's energy, okay? Now, if the Magician shows up, the Hierophant shows up here, it's either a second and third house activation that's going to be the block. So when it comes to making money off of your close associates, make sure it's clean and make sure that you're doing the work in the right way, okay? Or make sure that you have company, okay? It's natural that you will go out with some people. Okay, if you do things socially in that way, make sure that the table is clean, that the food is prepared, that you eat mindfully, okay, and not invest in idle gossip, or it could produce certain effects, okay. There's something about conversations that you will recycle, that you have to go back to understand what has driven some people to that point, okay, especially if you have been trying to get out of something, okay, breaking out of a toxic situation, either in relationships, in friendships, in family, or in work, career, and all of that. There's something like a calling to go deeply within and to figure out why you don't participate there. Why it's not just procrastination and laziness. There's something there that is motivating that, okay? That's basically what I see with these cards in particular for Libras. I do wish you well. Hopefully that has helped. Take care now. Greetings and welcome to my dear Scorpios. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Welcome to the channel. I am working here on the YouTube platform to bring forward a look into the 8th house, into Scorpio's energy, okay? So this is for Scorpio suns, moons, ascendants, Venus, etc., okay? We are asking Mars and Pluto to help us to discern through the science what's going on here astrologically, and to for us to be able to use those two planets, Mars and Pluto, to see any sort of transitions or actions that need to be had, either introverted or extroverted, okay, for the month of October for Scorpio. And we'll be using two 3-card spreads, and there are 2 triangles, and they turn out to be 6 cards total plus a bridge position. So that's 7 cards. And as the cards overlay, 3 and 3, we're able to see past, present, future, and a mode of ascension through the quantum field. So it's going to be an interesting reading. Hopefully, we see what goes on, and you can use what you can in terms of guidance for the month. We have here, firstly, the 10 of Cups. This is kuru, which is like rust or corrosiveness, something falling apart. 10 of Cups, so it's a pretty heavy reading already, but it's also light because you let go of things that are not sitting well. We have here in the past position the card of éclaircissement or a few, which is it's kind of like the opposite of clarity, which is obscurity. The Sun card. Okay, Sun card is very powerful. Usually it's like these 2 dudes who are in front of an artifact or like a spiritual structure, and they compete for the god, the Sun god. The Sun is also it's like the cosmic womb, and then all of these little dudes are trying to get there to impregnate the star. So it's pretty esoteric meaning. In this deck, it's a Taurian energy, 2nd house, but then it's flipped. So if it's in reverse, yeah, then it's not the 2nd, but the 8th house, and it switches to Scorpio's energy. Yeah, okay. And then we have in the future position the 4 of Swords. 4 of Swords is usually the card of solitude, dreams, astral projections, okay, and truth that comes when there's great pain. So there's that in the future position. In the 2nd triangle, we have the 5 of Pentacles, Mars's energy here. We have here in the past position, the 9 of Rods in the reverse. We also have in the future position the Fool card in reverse. Okay, interesting. Now, when it comes to your resourcefulness, there is going to be some sort of time when you are asked to squeeze the lemons, okay? If life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, okay? But lemon and citrus oil is very good for certain activities, including purifying the solar plexus, okay? Mars's energy is detrimented here. It's brought to its knees. Okay, when that happens, Venus takes over. So there is a light that produces a certain effect when it comes to your relationships, and then you are supposed to surrender your headiness, your logical part of the future, in order to sort of come through breakthroughs, awakenings potentially, or get the downloads you need. Okay, so that's an interesting interpretation of these 2 cards here. In the past position, we have the Sun card. We have the Sun card in reverse plus the 9 of Rods in reverse. There's something here like messages that come through the moon, because the opposite of the sun is the moon. It could also be Venus, but messages that come through the divine feminine, and they're very occulted, but you are allowed to let down. You've been allowed to let down your guard, okay, and to try different things, especially around the eclipse season, okay. Now this may or may not have gotten you in trouble, okay. So basically, if there is a flow of information that comes from either Venus or the moon in the past or the early part of the month, okay, either past month or early part of the month, or all the way up to from the Lion's Gate, okay, which was around August, or the eclipses in September. Basically, there's a strong need to come into a form of stability, and it has to do with an activation of the 8th house, from the 2nd to the 8th. And it's like you can go through the transformation if you embrace that, but you should also seek out protection. If you are exploring in the astral realm, okay, through dreams and stuff like that, make sure that you are taking the right paths, and that the place you go back to, your body, okay, is protected as you do so, okay. So crystals will help you to do that, as well as a salt regime. There also is the ascendant position here, which is the pathway of ascension, okay, the present moment. This month will be very fraught, I would say, with unconventional or unorthodox situations. The more you let go, the easier it is. Okay, it's like having a situation and then being divorced from that, being separated from that for a while. Okay, you are asked and required to go in and to seek the information from the divine feminine in order to produce certain effects in your life. Okay, and a lot of it has to do with being able to embrace what is occulted, what is different. Okay, so that you can bring forward a light that hasn't been seen yet, a light or a skill set that hasn't been seen yet. Okay. Okay, so that's a very particular message. Your intuition will be key here. So make sure to process things thoroughly, to take your time, and to trust your emotional intelligence. Okay, there will be something like something where it's like you can look into the future, but be careful what you see there, or like make sure that what you see there isn't just triggered by a fear sequence or a fear algorithm, if that makes sense. And that's what I see for this month. It's just a very deep one, but yeah, hopefully that helps. All right, take care. Greetings and welcome to my dear Sagittarians out there. This is Ron from Terror of the Twin Sun. I'm working here on the YouTube platform to bring forward a look into the future for the month of October 2025. This eclipse season has been very intense. I'm currently working abroad. We'll be looking through the ninth house into the quantum field, okay, quantum field, and we'll be looking at the quantum triangle, which is two overlaid triangles. They create rectification. We look at a pathway of ascension. For Sagittarius, the ninth house is open. Jupiter helps us with this particular reading. So we'll go ahead and pull some cards. It's already been shuffled. First card that shows up is Naissance, which is the Ace of Rods in the upright, in the pinnacle position. So there's a new beginning, and that has to do with the pathway of ascension. The present moment is always about new incarnations, okay? So it's best to let the righteous action take place, to follow your heart as to a mode of ascension. In order to go to a pathway of spirituality, follow your heart and begin new things. Know that everything is an incarnation. Okay, every moment is an incarnation. Past position, we have a penchant, which is the page of cups in the reverse. We have in the future position the card of Cancer. This is Chariot in the reverse, Dissension. Okay. So already I'm seeing here a progression that leads to some sort of release. It requires you to take that first step and to take the fool's journey. Okay, but the fool's journey is all around. There is a need to have an elevated sense of humor when it comes to things, when it comes to the past, to let go of pretension, to let go of illusion. Okay, we have here in the second triangle, second present moment, the Four of Pentacles with 4 moons. Okay. We also have the card of Fortune in the past position. Card of Fortune. It's a very interesting fortune card. So the wheel is there. It's kind of like an Ouroboros, but also there's a rat and then a person that's stuck on the wheel. Kind of like an Atlian, like an Atlas type of character. Or Hercules, also the Hydra that's wrapped around Hercules. There also is a monkey with a rod, with a crown on top of the monkey's head. That's the past position, Fortune. We look into the future position. We have Imprévu, which is the card of the Page of Swords. Okay, so already there's a progression from water into air. That means there's a translation of a spiritual truth or a spiritual pretense that needs to be erased and then rethought of. There's a restructuring here. It sets you free if you're able to do this, and allows you a sense of humor. This is a very humorous reading. It's a humorous month. So you need to find, even in the darkest of satires, the most craziest of times, okay, especially with all the eclipses that have been happening, a way to regenerate in all of that, okay? There's something about good health that comes from a sense of humor. So it's good to have good company and to think of things as incarnational, as everything flowering, okay, with life and possibility. There also is the need to sort of appreciate, okay, anything that has been fake in the past. Even that is a joke within itself. If somebody has been offering in such a way or took back their offer, they've been reclusive, okay? Anything like that, don't overjudge and don't overcast on them. See the light in that also. The Fool's Journey is highly elicited here. You have a choice, okay? One reality or another. It leads to good health. It leads to the promotion of something foundational. If you can have the idea of starting something new wherever you go, okay? Where each chapter or each turn of the page, each breath is a part of the great chain of the present, okay? That will allow you on a quantum level to do whatever it is you need to rise up, to break free from certain structures, and to let go of things that have been disappointing in the past and the future when it comes to relationships with others, communication with others, okay? If there's like a falseness around that, I think you should be able to find a pathway of forgiveness in the humor of it all, okay? There also is the Three of Pentacles. So when it comes to this, this allows for your expectations to be humbled. If you've had expectations of others, okay, or of yourself, and you've been finding blocks there, once again, you need to find a way to see the newness in every moment, how every moment can lead in any direction, and there's like a boundless set of infinite potentials, okay, for the month of October. And that allows you to freely go wherever it is, righteously, in the name of the light, okay, and to know where you're stepping into, okay, which is always the present moment, okay. So yeah, it's a pretty standard reading. I don't see much else there. Saturn is something that is going to help you secretly. The moon, especially new moons, will be very important for you. There also is some sort of, I would say, there's like a joke that's underlying all of this. And if you can embrace that humor, especially through a forgiveness of humor, in the exaggerations or the fictions of others, okay? There's something like a humor and a comedy, a divine comedy in all of it. And I think you should embrace that, all right? Hopefully that helps. Yeah, take care now. Greetings and welcome to my dear Capricorns. This is Ron from tarotofthetwinsun. I am working here on the YouTube platform to bring forward a look into the future for the month of October 2025. So yeah, the eclipse season has been pretty radical. There's a lot that has to do with healing, changing of timelines, etc., making the quantum jump into other places. Yeah, that's all good, but I think if you maintain the idea of presence, concentration, and hard work and discipline, that you will be rewarded through Saturn. So we ask Saturn to go ahead and help us to figure out through the quantum realm, through the quantum field, how we can see a pathway of ascension for Capricorn this month. So it's a spiritual reading. You can take what you will. Yeah, take what you will, please, and use it to your advantage. So we have here 2 3-card spreads. They're in the forms of triangles, 2 past, present, futures, and then they overlay, okay? And then in this, there's kind of like a thread of ascension that helps us to hone ourselves spiritually, especially for Capricorn, suns, ascendants, moons, etc. We'll look into that now. So I've already shuffled this deck. This deck is a very old deck. It's an 1890 deck, the Alieta school, very old, at least 100 years old. Okay, so we have here firstly the card of the 5 of Cups in reverse. Okay, which is a powerful card. It allows for forgiveness. It's not only forgiveness of others, but forgiveness of oneself. Okay, so there's like this hand of mercy that comes into Capricorn's like subtle field. Okay, and it heals, and it allows you to get over cycles of regret. Okay. That's one thing in the ascension mode in the present moment. Okay, we have the past position here, and it's the eight of swords, which is usually it's a card of critique. It's a card of like excision. It's also a card of like protection potentially, but overprotection could lead to paralysis. So it could also be a card of paralysis in the past position. We have here in the future position the two of Pentacles, okay, and they're both Mercury's energies. They cross and overlay with the sacred flame, and then there's a mercurial Thoth messenger here, messenger of the gods, with a book in his or her hand, yeah, and with winged sandals. So there's a lot that has to do with a connection in the future, work connection, one that's based on trade, or potentially a soul connection with a karmic partner, or potentially a partner that is based on the element of artha, okay, which is the constitution of grounding, okay, through business, through contracts, through what's promised in the situation, okay. The burning bush also indicates like messages that help inform this connection in the future. Okay, we have here in the second triangle the Six of Pentacles. Okay, Jupiter is very strong in the Six of Pentacles, le présent, which is like the present moment. You can shift easily, excuse me, pardon. You can shift easily from one timeline to the next if you wanted to. If you've been overdwelling in the past 3, 4, 5 months in the same sort of heavy energy, okay, that's been weighing you down, it is on this month that particularly you can shift, okay? And it's up to the last 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. There's basically, since the Lion's Gate especially, and then the eclipse seasons that happen in September, there's going to be a strong translation of one gift to another, one timeline to another, so you can shift very easily, okay? And that's your mode of ascension. Also, it could be that you come to realize that the people you're dealing with also have this capacity to shift, and you can forgive them for that. You don't have a regret sequence with them, okay? If you can see that, okay? Mercury and Jupiter are very strong in this particular reading so far. We also have a bit of Libra, so that's Venus's energy, and also the moon in reverse, the sun's energy coming strong, okay? We have in the past position, second triangle, the Homme Méchant, which is the King of Swords in the reverse, okay? If you take the King's Sword away from this one, you get 7. There's a lot of dwelling energy in the past, dwelling and revisitation, and trying to get away, okay? Could be that you've run away from certain things that you didn't want to deal with, certain conversations that you didn't want to have with certain people, okay? Especially if they were cold, narcissistic, or whatever. That's been your MO throughout the eclipse season, hiding, which is okay. But now it's time to turn the page. It leads to the Eight of Pentacles plus the High Priestess in reverse. This High Priestess is probably my favorite card in this deck in particular. I mostly collect the Alieta decks, and they're usually quite old, around late 1800s, early 1900s, and this printing is very good. There's a mountain around the High Priestess, and then Itila's name is on the top. We have Virgo, we have the 8, which is the House of Transformation, okay? So this is strongly eliciting fixed water. It's eliciting mutable earth and mutable water also. So it's Scorpio's energy, Virgo, and Pisces, okay, because of the High Priestess. Could also be Cancer, could also be the 4th house, the moon. So this is a strong card to have. It did come up in reverse, okay, which is interesting. So it requires a bit more of a hermetic energy. There's something about your healing process that allows you to move to different timelines and then go about business as usual. There's one particular connection that will be very fruitful for you later on in the month, and it leads to great wealth, but it's a pathway that you usually wouldn't walk, okay? It will help you to transform, but you should find a way to re-strengthen your shields and to know your boundaries, because you're usually protected when it comes to working with others, okay? There also is someone from the past that is kind of a hindrance. It's best to leave that there, especially if they have narcissistic tendencies. It doesn't mean that they are narcissists, Okay, the only true narcissist comes from one source of evil. Okay, but the system around it, it creates abusers and the abused, the victims. Okay, so basically, it's good to come to clarity with that timeline. Know that it's there. You can shift over and then heal, and it brings forward a collaboration with something that you wouldn't usually go to, but it helps. Okay. Let's see here. There's a bridge position. The best thing to do when it comes to this is to honor Mercury. Mercury will bring you, okay, either through the 6th or the 3rd house, it will bring you platitudes, because Mercury is a sister sign of Saturn in terms of the triplicity of Earth. It brings you horizons. Okay, Mercury is kind of a horizontal type of energy. It crosses over, for example, it crosses over the sun on on an ecliptic, on a meridian. Okay, this is some of the secret information that I should be writing down. We also have the Two of Rods, which is powerful. There's going to be a choice that seems like it's a choice, but it's an illusion. You're supposed to take that choice because it's the right choice. Okay, when it comes to the element of fire, there's always something where it's like you have to burn something in order to create. You have to burn one path in order to walk the other. Okay, and that's a very powerful indication that there can be only one truth. It's kind of like a fate type of energy. So this transition is going to be a blessing. If you stay on the other path, that also could be a blessing. Okay, so yeah, that's what I see with it. Hopefully that helps. All right, take care.